Hello, YouTube. We're back, and this is the big one. So, today we are doing deadlifts. It's already ready to go. I'm not ready to go yet. I've still got to do some air bike first, and then get set up and ready to go. But this is a big one. This is a big one. So, last week was a 4-rep max. Today is a 3-rep max, but it is also my max deadlift I'll have ever done. I've done heavier on higher deadlifts, so 21 inch, I've done 18 inch, I've done 12 inch. In terms of standard conventional, if this goes, this will not only be my 3-rep max, but it will also be a max. Okay, just by sheer coincidence, because we don't do maxes. My coach doesn't want me to do ego lifting and stuff like that, so we're building and building and building. So this is a 3-rep max if it all goes well. Am I feeling 100%? Probably not. No, I'm a little bit sore up in the shoulders. I'm feeling a bit saying, but have I been 100% anywhere in the last couple of weeks? Absolutely not. So 213.5. It's a random number, but it basically he wanted 212.5 for 3. But with my collars, because they are a kilo and they say they're a kilo, it's 213.5. I don't count collars in any other capacity unless it's these ones. You could say, why don't you use different ones? But these are the most secure. They're proper like screw-in ones, so I want them. So it's a big one. If it goes, it's a big one, which is very, very exciting. So I'm going to get on with that. I then have back off sets at 175. I think it's just 2 sets at 5. So it's just 5 kilos up on last week. And then off to the gym to do some T-bar rows and some bent over rows. And then that is me done today. And then it's just events. And then events is a big one because, of course, everything is going to be at comp weight for that one. So pre-workout is done. I'm going to get on with my air bike and then I will get this filmed and then I will check back in before I do my second sets. And then again, once done. But if this goes, it's super duper exciting and it's a big old deal. So we go time. It's done. As you will see from the video that I would have posted before this little segment, 213.5 kilos for 3. So that is now my max deadlift, conventional. Obviously, as I've said before, I've done others at different levels, but in terms of bog standard conventional deadlifting, 213.5 kilos is my max, but it is also my 3-rep max. So that sounds complicated, but basically it's the most I've ever done as a deadlift, but it's just I've got strong enough now that actually that was a 3-rep max. So my max deadlift hopefully is somewhere around 220, which being about 5-6 weeks out from comp is awesome, because if I can get 220 in comp as conventional, that will be incredible. That will be absolutely incredible. And obviously at the moment I'm fatigued. Like I said before this, I'm not like 1,000,000% myself, but obviously I'm not at the moment because unfortunately I've still got ongoing problems with my gallbladder which needs removing, so I am medicated to the nines. But that was something else. That was awesome, and I was really happy with how the reps went. They weren't like, obviously I had to sort of bend into them, but they weren't like super hitchy. They weren't like you know. The second 2 were actually probably better than the first. You know, that can sometimes happen. I find sometimes my first, there's that apprehension, there's that anxiety. The second tends to be the better. And then the third is that, oh my God, I've got a third one to do. But really pleased. To be honest, there was probably more. But we were only aiming for 1 to 3. Well, we're aiming for 3. Again, like last week where I wanted 4. Either it was a 4 or 3 reps, or it was 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 elsewhere. But my aim at the moment is to hit those 3-rep maximums, because obviously that's going to be better. The next 2 sets to finish off the session, I've got obviously accessories to do at the gym, but the next 2 sets are just 175 for 5 per set. These are always good fun to do because, to be honest, they're normally quite tough, because obviously by the time you've pulled really, really heavy, the first set's normally like, oh yeah, this is okay. And then by the time you get to the second set and then that final 2 reps, it's like, oh wow, horrendous. But I'm so psyched. You know, I started deadlifting 4 years ago, and I was deadlifting for 78 kilos. Now, admittedly, I probably had more than 78, but I wasn't a great deadlifter. In fact, I remember when I deadlifted like 150 one time, just absolutely smashed my back in for like 3-4 weeks, totally just pulled it out. It's what made me buy this underbelt, in fact. But now my coach Ben has got me to a really good place on deadlifting. Obviously, I'm not the greatest deadlifter in the world. That would probably be Thor with his 505 or one of the others. But to see where I've come from when my original deadlift was 78 kilos, I pulled 200 in 2023, but like, and actually it was a really good rep, but you know, it was the only one that was going to happen. And, you know, it was hard to do again for a while, but now we're into the 200s and we're into the 200 for reps, which bodes well because the comp I've got after Lincolnshire's, Shropshire's is 204 reps. So by the time I get there, by the time I've peaked for this one, I've worked everything, I'm hoping, you know, 6 to 7 reps on the day would be doable in that one. Whereas Lincolnshire's again is a max. But this is good. This is really, really good. Enjoy the secondary sets. I'll wrap up at the end, then I've got to go to the gym and do my accessories. But yeah, thank you for watching if you are. This is super exciting. And then we're done. 175, 2 sets, 5 reps each. Got very tough by the end, I'm not going to lie. It's very hot here, as you probably see on the videos when I get close to the camera. It gets very hot and very sweaty. Luckily, the garage is a little cooler, which I was worried about because I didn't think it would be, but it is. But yeah, that's it. Deadlift session done. New max, new 3 rep max, everything fantastic. Yeah. Really, really cool. By the way, when I say conventional, I don't mean as in conventional versus sumo. I don't do sumo. I have no issue with people who do, but I don't do sumo. I'm talking about different heights. So I've done a 12-inch deadlift at 220 axle. I've done a 18-inch axle and an 18-inch silver dollar or whatever it is, silver dollar 15 maybe, 220, 230. And I've done a 300 kilo 21-inch. Technically it was a rack pull. It's somewhere in my files, as it were. Sadly didn't get it in comp, but it was actually completely different to what they said, which was unfortunate, but I got it off the floor, so that'll do. Yeah, really, really, really good session. Events on Saturday, like I said, is going to be full comp spec. So the aim at the moment now is to start speeding things up. So I want to get stones ideally 6 in under a minute. Well, I got 6 in over a minute the other day, only by a few seconds, but I want to get in under a minute this week. I've got a full run at the overhead. Not going to be worried about time, just going to be worried about getting it done. Although obviously I've had a bit of a play with what I'm going to do on the 100 kilo barbell, just to kind of go up, and then up, just to make it a little bit more flowing. And then farmers, to be honest, 95 kilos per hand. I mean, that's where I was last week. It's 100 this week. It should be fine. You know, it moved really well. I do have to do drop and turn this week, just because my garden isn't long enough for anything else. But we're in a good position. We're in a really, really good position. This should go into this comp the strongest I've been. And it just bodes well for future, you know, bodes well for these next 2 comps. And then of course beyond. Once I've done, I'll go into an off season. I will reduce the videos because it'd be boring. I'll probably just do 1 or 2 a week. I won't have events training or anything like that because I don't do major strongman events during my off season. We focus very much on just strength training, and then we'll see where we go from there. Normally, I get back into comp prep quite quickly, so normally I'll probably have November, December as a what's it called? An off season, and then in January onwards, I normally end up start prep, maybe mid-Jan, because I normally end up competing sort of April, May. But we'll see, obviously see how things go, see what we do. As mentioned, I turn 40 next year, so it does mean I can start looking at masters competitions. And yeah, so it may well be we look at something along those lines, but we'll go from there. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you for my events training. There you go. Look, I'm really sweaty.